In the summer of 1998, 3 college friends disappeared without a trace during a weekend trip through Death Valley. No distress signal, no tire marks. Just one melted camera and an unfinished roll of film. For 25 years, their case haunted California Highway Patrol. Until last September, when 2 hikers found something buried beneath the salt, something that should never have been there. June 12, 1998, Tyler Nash, Cameron Ortega, and Jared Whitlow had just finished their junior year at UC Santa Cruz. Childhood. Friends from El Segundo, they were inseparable since 6th grade. Tyler was the photographer. Cam had the maps. Jared just liked driving. They planned a weekend road trip to celebrate finals. Their goal, to cross through Death Valley's lesser-known western rim, an off-grid route that Cam read about in an outdated ranger manual. They told their families they'd be back Monday. They never came back. The last confirmed sighting was a gas station in Lone Pine. They were caught on grainy security footage around 7:42 p.m. buying ice, jerky, and a case of water. Tyler was seen flipping through a topographic map, and Jared jokingly saluted the cashier. Cam left a message on his sister's answering machine. "We'll be in the canyons near Eureka Dunes. No signal there. But we'll hit Bishop on the way back. Should be fun." That message was never followed up. When the boys didn't return, family members filed missing persons reports. The problem? They didn't file until Thursday. By then, Death Valley had reached daytime temperatures over 117 degrees Fahrenheit. Search crews combed over 1,000 square miles. Planes circled. Helicopters hovered low over rock shelves. Park rangers brought in K-9 units and even borrowed thermal imaging equipment from the Navy base in China Lake. Nothing. Then, 3 weeks later, park rangers found something. In a remote ravine called Hidden Basin, tucked behind rock walls that didn't appear on tourist maps. Searchers found a burnt-out 1987 Toyota 4Runner. The front end had been crushed by a fallen boulder. All 3 tires on the passenger side were gone, shredded beyond recognition. Inside the vehicle was a melted film camera and 3 empty water bottles. No blood. No bodies. No gear. And no signs anyone had walked away. The passenger door was open. There were scratch marks on the inside panel, as if someone tried to claw it shut. Interview, Ranger Lyle Cantor, 1998. "I've worked these deserts for 20 years. Usually you find something: footprints, clothing, supplies scattered. But this? It was like they vanished at the impact." There were rumors, strange ones. One ranger claimed his GPS kept spinning when they entered the basin. Another searcher said she heard a faint voice calling from the canyon wall, only to realize it was her own echo played back slower. An official incident report mentioned irregular magnetometer readings in the ravine. It was later redacted. By fall of '99, the story had faded from the news. A local paper ran the headline, "3 friends lost to the dunes, Death Valley." Claims again. Tyler's parents left a cross near the basin with his last developed photo, laminated under plexiglass. A photo of the boys smiling near the 4Runner, arms linked. September 2023. 2 hikers, Grace Liu and Danny Farrell, were filming a documentary on abandoned Cold War-era installations in the Mojave. On day 6 of their trek, they veered off-trail toward an old airfield and camped near an unfamiliar canyon just north of the Hidden Basin. They weren't looking for mysteries. Grace was documenting Cold War bunkers. Danny handled audio. That morning, Grace noticed something metallic buried beneath salt crystals near their tent. It looked like part of a film canister. They dug. Underneath was a rusted ammo box. Inside, a Ziploc bag with undeveloped film, a heat-warped cassette, and a journal half filled with water-damaged pages. They hiked back out the next morning and mailed the contents anonymously to a podcast called Desert Signals. The host, Julian Vargas, developed the film. What he found launched a second investigation. The pictures were dated June 13th, 1998. Photo 1. The three boys posing beside their forerunner on a ridge at sunset. Cam is holding a paper map. Tyler is adjusting the lens. Photo 2. A blurry shot of something. In the distance, an old antenna tower, partially buried. Photo 3. Jared, looking directly at the camera, visibly sweating. Behind him, carved into a rock wall, is a strange symbol. 3 concentric circles with a vertical line through them. June 13th. Map doesn't match. Ridge is gone. Cam says we turned 20 east last night, but we should have been on the dune crest. Saw flicker lights to the north, thought it was another car. Wasn't. Towers humming again. Jared says he saw something move below the salt. I think it's heat stroke. I want to go back. Tyler, the journal, ends with a half-written sentence. If we don't get out, then nothing. Investigators reopened the case. Rangers re-entered the hidden basin. This time, they brought ground-penetrating radar. On day 3, they found something. Buried beneath 3 feet of compacted salt and dust, just 50 yards from the old crash site, was a second shelter. A Cold War survival pod buried in the 1960s as part of a civilian fallout test program. Inside, they found the remains of 2 individuals, a cracked canteen, 3 maps with route lines drawn in red marker, second cassette, 2 military-grade ration packs dated 1961. The bones were confirmed to be Tyler and Cam. Jared was never found. The first cassette, recovered by the hikers, was cleaned and restored by a forensic audio lab. It contained about 40 seconds of audible tape. Cam says we looped again. This isn't the same ridge. He's panicking. Jared's outside. There's humming. It won't stop. I think we found something. Not on the map. Not supposed to be here. The walls are warm. I don't know what day it is. The second cassette, found with the remains, was even more disturbing. Cam's voice. He walked out there. Jared said he heard music, took the flare gun, and smiled, like he was meeting someone. I hear it too now. The map showed a location not registered on any modern survey. A place marked only. As geologists later confirmed that seismic sensors in that region often failed to transmit data. One theorist claimed the hidden basin was once the site of deep radar testing. Others hinted at electromagnetic anomalies caused by subterranean minerals, but no one could explain the third photo, the symbol carved into stone. It didn't match any known tribal, military, or geologic marker. The tower in the photo was never found. Jared remains missing to this day. Grace and Danny were later interviewed by National Geographic, but neither has returned to the site. The cassette tapes are now archived at the California Department of Public Lands. And Tyler's final journal entry remains one of the strangest. There's something under the salt, and it remembers us. They thought they were chasing a forgotten trail. But in Death Valley, not everything that's buried stays gone. Some echoes wait 25 years just to be heard.